All right, everybody, welcome aboard. April mid-month Outturn preview tasting. 6 excellent whiskeys to go through tonight. Joining me all the way from California. If you don't know him, Erik Waite. Well, wait, I'll let you introduce yourself, Erik. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm Erik Waite, Erik Waite Whiskey Studies. If you don't know already, my background is actually in wine. Been in the wine trade over 20 years. I'm a certified sommelier with the Court of Master Sommeliers, French Wine Scholar at the Wine Scholar Guild, and have a diploma from the Wine Sport Educational Trust. But while studying for the diploma, or the WSET, got introduced to spirits. I was going to become a master of wine, but when I got introduced to spirits, had a single malt for the first time, boop, made a course correction, got into whiskey about 6 years ago, and been to about 40 distilleries around Scotland, dozen so in Kentucky and down in Texas, and have a diploma from the Edinburgh Whiskey Academy. Went to that school with those funny guys down in Texas. But anyhow, it was almost as if I was going to get married. You know, my bride was wine, and suddenly I met another woman. Her name is whiskey.
Nothing wrong with that course correction at all right there. But yeah, and you actually, when you started on YouTube, you were a wine channel.
Right.
And then you started doing whiskey with that, and you eventually kind of broke off the whiskey channel, which I just looked, you're doing really good. Your subscriber count has grown real well with it.
Coming up on 15,000. So originally, so I still have the wine channel, but I haven't done anything on it. But what I was going to do wine and spirits, but I realized the demographic is very differently. There are people, who are really, really, really into whiskey, and they'll have wine, with dinner, but they're not as enthusiastic about wine as they are about whiskey. And the other way around, there are people really, 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 into wine, and they'll have whiskey, they'll have cocktails, but they have to be dual passion. They have passion for both of them. It takes an odd breed. So I realized it's just different crowd, different demographics, and so I split off and started the whiskey channel. And no regrets. I've met some absolutely fantastic people, such as yourself, such as Ben Dietrich, in the whiskey world. And honestly, that's half of it. I could give up the whiskey tomorrow, but I can't give up you, Scott.
You had me at hello. We have met up several times. You were here. You came to Bart and I's 5th anniversary.
Right.
For the Scotch Test Dummies. We had a 5th anniversary gathering here in town. That was 2018. We've met up in Austin down there at the Whiskey Vault twice down there.
Yep, for the ball.
The
ball down there. Oh, and then you surprised me over at the Licorice's Ironwood. I was visiting Ironwood Distillery, and you showed up and surprised me there one time.
Well, we did a fundraiser, and you bid on auction for a tour at the distillery there. And I happened to be close or semi-close to it the same weekend you were there. So I kind of swung by and surprised you and met you there at the same time. So
my first experience actually with the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society was over in Scotland, was in Edinburgh with Brother Roy. Mm-hmm. And he took me over to, I don't know what they call the house.
The Vault.
Oh, the Vault. And so we had dinner there, which was very good. And then tasted whiskeys. We had walked all over Edinburgh and stuff. That was my first experience. And then the second experience, when I got to meet Ben, was at your guys' anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good.
Really, really, really impressed. Another experience I had, actually it wasn't this last Christmas, but the Christmas before last, I got sent, so a member of the society sent me an advent calendar that he made.
Mm-hmm. I think he's watching
30 samples, and so I did short 60-second reviews, did the advent calendar, and every one of them mind-blowing. I've always been impressed with Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, and recently I became a convert and joined.
Well, that's GCAP, and he's always tuning in. I think he's here tonight. I thought I saw him comment there. Yep, or George Kaplan. Yep. Let me go through real quick a little bit of roll call. Those here and tuning in this evening: Michael Gonzalez, Big Ed, George Kaplan, Brian Baumstein, Kyle Armstrong, Uncle Nate Drinks Whiskey, Duke McHale, Jack White, Ernie, Warren Buff. I just talked to Warren Buff on the phone earlier today with SMWS. He called in. Dale Barbu is here. Castillo Montoya, J Mac, Evan Stevens, Robert G, Northwoods Whiskey Nerds, Big Dog. Big Dog says Erik needs no introduction. Matthew J. Ryan is here. Whiskey A Go Girl, that's our Jenna. Thanks, Jenna, for tuning in. Joe Combs the second is here. Robert. All right. Let's get into our first bottle, 1 of 6.
So the biggest challenge is, I think, there's some whiskeys, you can kind of go wham, bam, thinking, ma'am, and then there's some that grab your attention, and the whole rest of the world disappears. And all that is in focus is what's right in front of you. And I know some of these whiskeys, it's like, we need to spend some time together. Get to know each other. You know that's how it is.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to keep it rolling. We got 6, 7 to do. We got some work to do. But I know these are going to be attention grabbers.
Yep. So our first one, we're going to start with an 11-year-old Speyside, cask number 115.24, named Luscious Crumble. Our cask type on this, it's a second fill ex-bourbon barrel. It's in the sweet, fruity, and mellow profile at 58.4% ABV. There you go.
Luscious Crumble.
Woo! Boy, in the nose, just berries and fruits all over.
When I first poured it, and it's changed a little bit since then, I was getting almost like a dusty white chocolate character. Huh. But then once I tried it on the palate, that fruit really, really kicks in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it sounds funny, a whiskey being crisp. There's like a crisp, zingy character to it as well.
Uh-huh. Yep. Nice. I like the white powder milk chocolate or white chocolate. Very nice. Nice and fruity. Berries, citrus. Woo. Vanillas.
Pineapple. More yellow fruits. Just a hint of honey. Not a lot of honey, but just a hint of honey. Very, 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 very. So you can get caramel that's almost like as dark as chocolate, and you get caramels that are, very, 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 very pale, almost sort of like an off-white. There's a little bit of like an off-white caramel. So like from C's Candies. I don't know if you got C's that way, but I get a little of that character.
Yeah. Little maltiness going on in the background here on the finish. Nice coming through. All those slight tropical fruits, more berries, more citrus. I can see your pineapple. Yeah. Toasted, a little bit of a toasted pineapple almost.
It's pretty sweet up front. It's not as intensely sweet on the back, so it does dry just a little bit, but it's pretty sweet all the way through. The ABV on this is 58.4. This is dangerously delicious. There is no burn. Of course, being whiskey drinkers, you can kind of get numb to it, so we don't notice it. But man, I'm not getting any bite. There's no sting. You could just it does not come across as something that's big.
It's a very, for the sweet, fruity, and mellow profile, very fitting with this one. So much fruit on it. All those nice creams, caramels, milk chocolate, like you said, those fruits, very nice. I had a couple drops of water here and we'll try to see what happens if we get anything different. I do have a couple of we did the April Outturn. Ben came on. He was very gracious. We gave away a couple of gift cards that night. He's letting me give away a couple tonight as well. So we'll have a couple of small trivia questions. You'll have to be able to comment, but everybody that comments with the right answer will be entered in the drawing for a $50 gift card tonight. 2 $50 gift cards.
So if people are subscribers to mine to watch them on the channel, they may notice, particularly when you get a video with more of a wide view, I did some rearranging and moving around, and now, ta-da! Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. It's got its own shelf right now, and Artie has moved off to the left, and I got Highland above and below, but now right here I got the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society.
It's a good move. Good move.
Good move. Wow.
Water, definitely, even though it wasn't really harsh before, water is definitely helping all those notes. I'm not getting anything that I wasn't getting before the water, but it really kind of even mellowed everything out a little bit more, helping everything kind of blend together, a marriage here.
I like that intense malt, that the maltiness really kicks in the back. Sometimes after dinner, you want something that's really, really sweet as a dessert. This is not dessert sweet, but you want something sometimes after dinner, like a Glenmorangie Quinta Rubin is pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
But the malt character almost gives like almost a little drier sensation. And so it counterbalances. It provides a balance between sweet and then a little dryness. But I really like that maltiness on the back end.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. A little bit of actually water's kind of actually helping it. It's actually giving a little bit of burn on the back end of my tongue now at the back of my palate. Let's add just a couple more drops here and see if anything changes. Slight, I just got a little bit of a very slight tobacco note, almost like a cigar wrapper. Very on the tail end.
So this is 2nd of September was bottled. 2nd of September 2009. Speyside, and second fill ex bourbon barrel. Okay. Okay. But do they ever indicate age on these? Give you an idea of the age of them? Of the whiskeys. Like it's a 10, it's a 12, 13.
Yeah, it's right there on the corner. It says 11.
I need new glasses.
Like, do we ever indicate the age of what? Oh,
well,
yeah.
So the age is the same color as the top here, and that's what threw me off. Not that it's difficult to throw me off, but there you go.
I'll bring that up to the bosses, Eric. See if we can start doing that. Putting the
put a circle, or for those who are blind, put a big, huge number, like this big. For those who don't see too good.
Joe Combs says the age is a secret. Yeah.
Wow. Really, really, really nice.
Mm-hmm. Water isn't hurting it at all. Like I say, I'm not getting necessarily anything different with it, but it's not hurting it at all. Still a great palate, and I've added a couple splashes of water, I would say, to it. But yeah, so these are available tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and this one will be available $135.
Wow. Okay. Nice. So, are we moving on to the next one?
Yep. We'll move on to the juicy oak and vanilla profile. Let me get a swig of water on here too.
Yeah.
On the palate. Cleanse it a little bit.
So let me ask you a question. So there are some people, my dad was one of them. You go to a restaurant, he always ordered the same thing. There's some people, they find what they like and they stick with it. Breakfast, he's going to order the same thing. He always had the same beer. Never changed brands. Very brand loyal. Same wine. He was a big fan of Kendall Jackson Chardonnay. So and maybe it's his generation, because I've had other friends. Their fathers they buy this one wine, or they always drink Merlot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm very, 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 very eclectic. I like almost all kinds of music, movies. I'm just in exploration. I maybe I get bored a little easy, and so I want to move on and explore and do something different. What better can there be in terms of exploration? Because you can't stick to one bottle because it's limited release, and there's always going to be something else coming along. So I have a few. Where I've gone through 6 bottles of this one particular bottle from this distillery. But generally, people say, have you bought another Elijah Craig Barrel Proof? No, I have one. I liked it, but I'm not buying every single iteration of it.
Yeah.
Where some people are, and that's fine if you do, because there's always something else out there to try. And I think if you're into constant exploration and it's always got to be something new, and hey, been there, done that, move on, let's try something different.
Yeah.
That's the nature of Scotch Malt Whiskey Society.
Yeah.
So once these are gone, that's it. They're gone, and there's something else that's going to come along. But you're never going to be disappointed. I don't think you're going to be disappointed and go. But let me ask you, but have you come across yet a bottle you like, this is the best one I've ever had, and gosh darn it, it's gone, and I can't get another one.
I don't know if I've had one where it's been the best I've ever had, but I've had some that, it's darn good. And you're like, I wish I would have got another bottle of that one. Yeah. But like you say, I think it teaches us, it's taught me, hey, enjoy the bottle, drink it till it's gone, and then remember it. You can always be like, hey, you remember that one? And you're like, oh yeah, that was a good one. Boy, I wish we had more of that one, but you move on to the next one, which is where we're at. We're moving on to the next one. Cask 6.50 by this great clatter. This is a 12-year-old, Eric, 12 years, Speyside, juicy oak and vanilla from a second fill ex-bourbon barrel, 57.9%, and will be available for $120. Gosh. Yep.
I hate to say this, but it's just the way things are going. The whiskey industry market and the prices of bottles are going kabang, 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 kabang. And it's what everybody's complaining about. You watch the whiskey tours, everybody's complaining about it. I'm hoping Scotch Malt Whiskey Society sticks in this range because of the quality and the cast strength of these. Before we went live, I mentioned, so I'm doing this series on my channel, and I bought a bottle of the 2017 Classic Cut from Macallan for $90, and so I popped the cork. Didn't know how, I didn't remember how much I paid for it, how much it goes for. When I Googled to see how much it is, $1,337.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I'd already pulled the cork. So there's nothing I could do. There's no way I'm going to flip it. And I'm not a flipper anyway. But if you can get this quality whiskey, this cast strength, and they're being this selective, and the fact that you can't be a flipper because how much notoriety can go out about it since it's such a limited selection, and they're going to move on, something else is going to come along. It kind of cuts out the flippers because there isn't 1,000, 10,000, whatever, 15,000 of these because it's boom, boom, boom. They're gonna move on.
Yeah. Yep. Which we put. So this one, Eric, if you look up there in the top right hand corner, this is there's 220 bottles from this cask.
Okay.
So.
Now, if you find something you really, 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 really like, and you're like, damn, I got to get another one of those. Do they have a library?
The thing is, we do. So we have some people, some members, and they will buy. They only like certain distilleries, so they buy. Those distilleries. We have some people that like certain flavor profiles, so they only buy those profiles. They may buy by cask type or region. And then you have, some members that are wide open and order everything. So really, it's to each his own on that. And, you find the bottles that you like and you go from there. So.
Right. This doesn't have a huge nose. I'm not getting a lot of jump out of the glass.
Juicy fruit, little tropical juicy fruit gum.
No power of suggestion, but yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Juicy fruit gum and vanilla and slight oak, hence the juicy oak and vanilla, really flavor profile. Woo. And what I like, so this one is from a second fill ex-bourbon barrel. So this barrel had aged bourbon, was sent to Scotland. It had Scotch in it, that for who knows how long. And then it was used for this bottle, this second fill ex-bourbon barrel. So you get less of the wood impact and you get a little bit better look at the distillate from the distillery when you get into the second fill and refill cask types. Woo.
It's very elegant. Alcohol can be perceived in a number of different ways as weight, like a heavy weight in your mouth. It can be perceived as sweetness. So actually, in part of my sensory analysis classes, They would take water, a bunch of glasses of water, and put different amounts of just straight alcohol in it. And the water would get sweeter and sweeter as they had more and more alcohol. So alcohol actually adds a little bit of a sense of sweetness to it. And I'm always amazed when there's a whiskey this high ABV, and yet it comes across actually kind of light on the palate in terms of the mouthfeel. It's very delicate. It has a lot of finesse to it. Joseph Magnus cigar blend, really high ABV, and yet Nancy's massively blended it, and it really comes across real light like that. I really like that.
Oh, Ernie is asking if the lottery winners have been notified yet. Yes, the first round of emails went out today. Generally, we give 48 hours for people to make the purchase. I'm pretty sure that's probably the case from today. Now, there's always some people that don't end up buying the bottle. So after 48 hours, we'll go down the list. We'll notify the next set of people that are up for however many bottles are available. And then we'll give them 48 hours to make their purchase. And if there's any bottles left at that time, we still go down the list. So if you didn't get an email today on the lottery, then hang in there. You could still get notified later.
So I mean, different tastes and what. I kind of like the first one actually more than this one, and I'm getting more out of the first one than I am out of this one. But this, and I say this all the time, and don't judge a whiskey by neck pour. But actually, I was getting more oomph in terms of flavor from the first one than I am from this one.
There was a lot more fruit on the first one. I really got tobacco again, where there was a faint hint of tobacco on the last one. It was a little bit more present in here, but nice oak, nice vanillas. There's some citrus here, not near as much of the berries or the tropical fruit that we saw in the sweet, fruity, and mellow profile before. This is a great example of our juicy oak and vanilla profile here.
Yeah.
A little bit of a burnt toasted vanilla.
Yeah, I was thinking I was looking for where is the bourbon cask characteristic, and that's it. Just a slight char, a little slight, almost like a slight not when the marshmallow's gone black, but when it's just got a light tan brown.
I was just gonna say toasted marshmallow. Yep.
Before the marshmallow burst into flames.
Yep. Yeah.
Get a little bit of that
cream, a little heavy whipping cream on the nose.
There's those times you're a kid, you get the marshmallow on the end of a stick, and it's nice golden brown, and you're kind of turning it because you don't want to burn, all on one side, so you're turning it. All of a sudden, poof, whole thing burst into flames. You're like, oh man, I burnt my marshmallow.
Kids crying, women are screaming.
All right, give me some graham crackers and some chocolate. Got to make a sandwich out of it. Got to make some s'mores.
John Kroll says, don't forget to call Erik Dr. Wait. He didn't spend 6 years in medical school to be called Mr. Wait.
Medical school? No. I didn't go to medical school. My doctorate's in theology, not medicine. But I definitely don't use the doctor title. No, I'm not into that. It's not relevant. It's not relevant. And if I had a doctorate degree in like Dr. Livermore up in Canada, at Weiser, his doctorate degree is in whiskey. And I believe, if I recall correctly, I think his thesis had to do with casks. If I recall correctly. Anyway, so you can call him doctor because it's relevant. This is irrelevant.
Crump, the cask hole, is asking, does the SMWS ship to control states like Virginia? Our ABC board are anti-consumer and generally don't allow outside liquor shipments. There's currently 6 states that we don't. We actually have another company that handles our shipping for us. But right now, FedEx won't ship to Utah, Mississippi, Alabama, North Dakota, South Dakota, and New Hampshire. So that's 6 states.
That's where I'm not moving to.
Yeah.
Ain't going there. No, ain't gonna do it.
Well, and that's the problem with the states, really, is just all the different state laws and regulations and Fed regulations. And it's, I'm glad another company, somebody else handles all the shipping issues. So, Bird Dog says that Scott and Erik, the yin and the yang of Scott's reviewers. Which is who's who though? Are you the yin or are you the yang?
I don't know. I thought I'm more of the third dummy.
Yeah, we take you. We'll adopt you. Warren Buff says, I can confirm SMWS ships to Virginia. I've received plenty here.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Have you added water?
I will right now.
This one handling water again very well. Really more of the toasted oak showing. Now, we had a little bit of a toast, marshmallow, toasted vanilla, a little bit more toasted oak now. Lighter, fainter citrus sweetness here. Vanillas.
I'm glad you said that because I was just commenting how this is not as fruity and isn't as much flavor oomph. That water just livened it up. Definitely. Wow.
Mm.
Wow. A lot. I mean, some whiskeys benefit from that, some don't.
Right.
This is much more dramatic in terms of turning up the volume, flavor. Wow, I was really surprised by that. So, the vault. Have you heard? Is there any plans on creating a Scotch Malt Whiskey Society vault in the United States?
I don't know. So I won't comment on it. Yes or no. I'm not sure.
Well, right now the restaurant industry, because they have dinners. So if you go to Scotland, you got to have haggis, haggis and tatties, and then the pies. They're big on the meat pies, which are probably the predecessor to pot pies that we have here in the United States. Marie Callender's pot pies or whatever. But I remember being there with Roy and having probably one of the best meat pies. So all over my travels all over Scotland, I'm trying to stick to, the native food. But probably one of the best meat pies I had was right there at the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. Real nice, light, flaky crust, and then the meat and stuff underneath. I would really like to have a restaurant or something that had not just whiskey, great Scotch whiskeys, but had the cuisine, Scottish cuisine. And you could go there and get a little taste of Scotland,
Andrew Deloach points out, he says, when did the SMWS start giving away the distillery in the names? And he quotes, by this great clatter is spoken by Macduff to Macbeth. Well, see, that's not giving it away. That's an educated man right there putting two and two together.
You got to be educated. Pick up on that one.
And John Kroll says he's just messing with you about being Dr. Evil and your 6-year degree.
Dr. Evil. Is that from
Austin Powers?
I've never seen that. I'm the bald guy. Right. I've seen clips, but I've never seen the movie. Sorry. That's a reference I missed. I didn't get that one. I had to get a little mini-me.
Real quick on the second dash of water, we better get on to the third one. I'm just looking. We kind of talked a general time frame when we started, and we're falling behind a little bit.
Get her done.
Again, 2 rounds of water with that one. It's handling it very well. And I'll tell you, I think most of our whiskeys, 1 round of water, 1 drop of water helps. A lot of people like them neat. That's great. I always tell people, try them neat, add a drop of water, and then move to a second drop of water, kind of see what happens. So moving on to the third bottle. Erik is holding it up there, 77.72. Admire the architecture. This is a 12-year-old Highland in our spicy and dry profile. Why is it so spicy? Refill ex-bourbon barrel, 59.4%, and will be available for $145.
There you go.
This is, every time I have a spicy and dry, I talk this category up. I think it's underrated. I think there's a lot of people that avoid it or don't look at it, and there are some simply great whiskeys in this flavor profile.
A little darker and golden in character. The other ones were a little lighter. It was just a little bit darker in color.
And nose definitely different here. I mean, like sweet, fruity, and mellow, and the juicy oak and vanilla. You get the oaks, you get the vanillas, you get the fruits. Here, it's all, It's dry oak. It's a peppery, tangy. It's making me salivate just smelling it on the back of my palate.
So I mentioned earlier how you can have those ones that sort of, grab your attention and you just got to pay attention to it and everything else is going to disappear. And this is it. This is it. And there's some whiskeys, you don't even have to drink them. Just sit there and smell them, And for me, what I really like to do is in the living room on the leather chair and when the weather's cold, turn the fireplace on with remote control, turn the fireplace on, and then I have electric candles around the room. I go, bloop, 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 turn on all the candles, and then I sit there and read a book, have a little glass on the side, and I'm in my zone. And sometimes you can just sit there while you're reading a book, reach over, just smell, and then continue reading, just smell, and then eventually, you take a sip. Wow. So, wow. I think if I was going blind, I think I know what this is. I'll look it up later. This is wow. I keep saying wow. This is very, very, very rare. You can have a whiskey and you feel like you don't really swallow it. It just kind of evaporates. And the angel share just kind of goes through your skull and out your ears of what was in your mouth. And that's kind of what it's like. It's so light. It almost as if it sort of evaporates and like hovers above your tongue. I know there's aromas and smells and flavors, but there's a sensation character to this as well. There's texture and mouthfeel to it as well.
Oh yeah, but dry oak, that a little bit of stringency was really the first note that I got on the palate. That dry, astringent oak moving just into black pepper, ground black pepper, coarse ground black pepper spice. Woo. I'm even trying to think what else I'm getting besides oak and pepper here.
So so the pepper kicks in more towards the back, a little bit more towards the back. Up front is the sweetness, light caramels. Just the slightest waft of smoke. Just like you blew out the candle and there's this waft of smoke kind of going out. And then there's just sort of on the back end, I'm getting a little bit of that pepper character and just a hint of that slight smokiness on the back end. Is this lightly peated?
It very well could be. I can't say yes or no. I don't know. Some of them can be. So, I can't say that I'm getting any peat, but I can definitely see where you would be getting it from.
Well, it's not like Isla peat. It's
right.
more like a little further north along the coast, where it's just a bare touch. So probably 10 to 15 ppm. This is a guess. Just a slight whiff and just a hint of that pepper on the back end.
I had to go through the flavor wheel because I'm like, what else am I getting besides, pepper, spice, oak, toasted nuts came to mind, toasted almonds, maybe even walnuts, a little bit more of a pronounced nut.
About halfway through, just before the pepper kicks in, dried yellow fruits. Maybe dried pineapple, maybe dried apple, but it's a dried yellow fruit character. But quickly on the heels of that comes the pepper and just a waft of smoke, and that's what sort of really grabs attention. And as I'm talking now, that's what the pepper and just this waft of smoke.
I just got the waft of smoke. Yep. Yeah. You were explaining that right there.
It's a delayed reaction. It comes in very, very late.
Yep.
And there's only one place I know that does that, and I shall not say who it is.
Well, there are a few that are going to use some lightly peated, barley. So this is a Highland. I don't know if that's the region you're thinking. So, wow.
Well, they put Aaron. The Isle of Aaron is Highlands.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's west of Glasgow. Glasgow go west to on Dawson, and then up on a ferry and just go straight into Aaron. So let me ask you a question. And maybe I asked this before, I can't remember because I'm getting old and forgetful. There's some distilleries where you taste them like, oh, okay, the official bottlings. And then you get an independent bottler and you're like, holy cow, this is what that distillery really could be if they did it right. Sometimes independent bottlers do better, they have better releases than the actual distillery. Have you come across anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
We won't name the distilleries because we want to mess with people's minds. That you're like, wow, this is really impressive. The Scotch Malt Whiskey Society version of this is so far better than anything coming actually out of the actual distillery.
No, I think that happens with quite a few. I mean, when you take these single cask strength whiskeys, that haven't been diluted and haven't been, blended with other barrels, I think that happens a lot. So I'd say it's almost the exception that doesn't happen, where it's like, that bottle isn't better than core range offerings.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't remember if I added the water or not.
This one, the selling point is the finish. Really is the finish. It's nice up front, but it's the selling point. It's the finish that really delivers. That really is really, really impressive on this one.
Wow. Water helping it. It's opening it up. It's expanding. A lot of those notes are really punching out now. That dry oak, that pepper, spicy. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of the smoke there again now.
Yeah.
So water definitely opening this one up. Yep. I like it.
A little water and a little bit of air, a little oxygen.
Uh-huh.
We shall spend some more time together. After the show's over, we will spend some more time together.
All right. Our first giveaway.
I wish some of the viewers were my neighbors. I would love to invite them over and pour them some.
Oops. Hold on just a second. Setting this up.
I got another question when you're ready.
All right. Everybody that's watching, this is for a $50 gift card to the SMWS.
Nice pop.
Got two of these. This will be one gift card. Erik and I just looked at 77.72. Leave a comment here. You have to comment to get entered into the drawing. The name of this was Admire the blank.
Admire the bald-headed man.
That is not the correct answer. Finish the name of the bottle.
Admire the bald, sexy man.
Finish the name of the bottle we just reviewed. Admire the blank. And you're entered into the first drawing for a $50 gift card. See a lot of comments coming in here.
There we go. This is actually a spelling test.
Yes. Yeah, you do have to spell it right. And you can, if you comment 10 times with the correct answer, you're only entered once. So you don't get entered 10 times, but
it's not Beetlejuice. Can't say Beetlejuice. And it'll show up. It won't work that way.
All right, let's go. Let's We'll give this a minute.
Okay.
Let's go through. We'll introduce the next bottle while people are commenting, but then before we taste it, we will draw the winner. This one is deep, rich, and dried fruits. Oops, clicked the wrong button there. Hold on just a second. A fascinating dichotomy. Cask number 18.41. This is an 11-year-old Speyside ex-bourbon hogshead, and then finished in a first fill ex-Oloroso hogshead. 59.7% ABV. 240 bottles available. And it's scrolling. It will be available tomorrow, 1 p.m. $125 on this one. All right, I'm going to share my screen.
It's funny. Even though the print is small, because of the font type they chose, I can actually read it. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Good.
And
all right, we've got 53 people right now have put in the right answer.
And it's all uppercase, which makes it easier to read.
I don't think case matters as far as our for you to read.
Yeah, to read in terms of the labels. So in the marketing, I took a marketing class and for wine marketing, and we had to design our own label. And there are certain things you should do when creating labels, and there's certain don'ts.
Yeah,
super fancy reading that you can't read really well unless you're going to brand that style of writing. It really shouldn't be used. If you want it clear to read, all uppercase and a nice bold print. So even though it's small print, I can actually read it, which is amazing.
All right, 53 entries. We're going to draw for the winner. Can you see is my screen showing up there, Eric?
I see. It says architecture.
Okay, that was the correct answer. We're going to draw this randomizer. Scrolls through everybody. It starts to slow down, and the winner is C. C is the winner. Congratulations, C. Let's see. I need to get your email address. So if you want to comment with your email address, that's fine. Or you can email me at scott@smwsa.com, and I will get you your $50 gift card. If you're not a member and you won, you can use it towards your a membership. So our membership for a year is $99. You can use the $50 gift card if you're not a member, and then become a member for $49.
And $99 is not bad, because that's 2 gallons of gas these days
in California.
It's insane. It's insane how much gas costs. We won't go there. It's almost cheaper to buy whiskey now than buy gasoline.
Sacrifices.
Yeah.
All right. A fascinating dichotomy. Eric, I'm sure you know what dichotomy is.
Yeah.
A division, a separation.
Yep.
A fascinating dichotomy here. So I did not look up. Most of these are going to be, so this is an 11-year-old. It was probably around 9 years ex-bourbon, 2 years ex-Oloroso. Let me see if I can look it up real quick and let you know.
Di means 2.
Do what?
Oh, dichotomy.
Oh, yeah.
Start doing etymology. Well, it's funny because when you had architecture, I started thinking about the etymology of the Greek word arche, from which we get architecture, or just an arch, either means the beginning of something or the head of something. So like an arch, is like the arch of a doorway or architecture of the building. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's a Greek word. We get arch.
So I looked this up. This was 8 years in ex-bourbon and then finished. So approximately 3 years in that ex-Oloroso cask. Wow. Oh, is that customer? It just showed C for some reason. Must be. Oh, no. C customer. Okay. Yep. Okay. Customer. Yep.
I don't think I've seen customer before.
Yeah. Shoot me an email, scott@smwsa.com. We'll get your $50 gift card to you.
So just a hint of sherry. It's not a big sherry bomb.
Right. Definitely just a sherry finish here. There's a lot of a toasted honey on the nose to me. I just got a grilled pineapple. We've brought up pineapple a time or two already, but a grilled fruits. It's like a luau. Like you're at a luau.
You ever do? It's very faint. You ever do, like when you're a kid and you had a little burner thing and you do the burner wood thing, and you arts and crafts. There's just a waft of that, just a hint of that.
Yeah.
Probably from the sherry cask.
Some darker fruits I can't necessarily. I wouldn't suss out and say, okay, there's plums or there's dates or there's raisins. There's a darker sweetness here.
I would almost go more towards a raisin bran, but it's faint. A raisin bran, that kind of character there. There's a raisin, but then there's like a raisin bread, brown bread, raisin character there.
Yeah.
There's a hint of honey. There's a hint of powdered sugar, a little maltiness.
Yeah, brown. Yeah, brown sugar.
Is that little slight toasty character, which I mentioned before,
Yeah.
kind of like a wood burning project when you're a kid? Just a hint.
A little bit of burnt, not even toasted, but burnt caramel.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Probably on that. It's on that range of the burnt characters.
Yep. All right, going on the palate on this one.
I got a new name for the. Damn. That's it. We're now going to switch the name to Damn. Wow.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, though, definitely just an Oloroso finishing here. It's not a sherry bomb by any means. There's so much toasted character here. There's some toasted almonds. There's some of that dark. I still can't really tell you what kind of fruits, but there's a darker sweetness here.
The development on this one. So some whiskeys, the difference between the front and the back is only marginally different. The one we had that had that peppery character, that was quite dramatic on the finish. Mm-hmm. This is also very dramatic on the finish in terms of what you're getting up front versus what you're getting sort of on the back end. For me, that's one of the favorites. If it's the same all the way through, boom, 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 a whiskey can come across as a one chord song. Okay, let's change chords now. But the development on this is just amazing. Sweeter up front, slightly savory on the back end. A little bit more caramel, almost a hint of burnt woodiness, but that sounds like bad, but it's not.
Some spiciness on the tail end, almost even a black pepper finish here.
Slight dried black fruit notes,
Yeah.
Very delicate, very elegant. I would say, if there's something similar between all these, even though there's a different distillery, different cask and so forth, there's a common theme in that there is both a power and a strength, but also an elegant and finesse with these whiskeys. That you could be totally satisfied with just this much and spend hours just on this alone. It's just absolutely amazing.
I add a couple drops of water to this and get in here, but I was thinking as you were talking too, I think got a little bit of like a blackberry I wouldn't even go lighter than that. I wouldn't say raspberry. I wouldn't say strawberry, blackberries, and even darker, more bitter fruits almost.
This is going to sound really strange, and I think very few people know what I'm talking about. There's a distinctive character to Texas whiskeys. That's like a sagebrush character. It's hard to describe, but I find it in a lot of Texas whiskeys. This doesn't have the intense heat and extraction of a Texas whiskey. It doesn't have that sort of, pull your lower lip over your head character of Texas whiskeys. But there's a sort of sagebrush, that sort of charred. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a whiff, just a teeny weeny bit of that sort of character.
Yeah. And I get that more, I think, with some of these where they're just a sherry finish, just been 2 or 3 years, where you get more of those toasted notes and more of that kind of those drawn out oaky, toasted, herbal, maybe even a little vegetal notes, compared to something that's exclusively matured in Oloroso. And that's when you get to that exclusive, that's where I get more of the, the dates or the prunes and the raisins, things like that will start to show.
It's funny because, and I'm sort of losing track, and I'm not taking notes. I'll have to go back and watch this video. Which one was that had the pepper finish? Was that the second or third one?
That was the third one, the spicy and dry. I admire the architecture.
So it's different, but almost like a cousin. One is a peppery, smoky character. This is more like a, not quite mesquite, but going in that direction, smoky character on the back end, probably from the cask, not from any peat. So one was coming like a peat smoky character. This is coming from a cask smoky character. Not smoke, but kind of it's hard to describe things sometimes. But in that sort of barbecue, just a whiff of a barbecue character on the back end.
Tobias Sellier says, I wish the people who wrote the SMWS tasting notes would write tasting notes for like well whiskeys and supermarket beers. Yeah. So most people probably know the SMWS originated in the UK. We've grown. It's worldwide. We have a team in the UK that selects casks. We have a team, the tasting panel, that goes through and does that and gets the notes and all that stuff. They're skilled at what they do, and I don't know that I could even try to match their prowess. But yeah.
The poet, there's a poetry and a limerick and a whimsical character to them, that which is not, again, that's not my particular gift of being whimsical. I've never said, Eric, you're so whimsical. I've never never been told that. Goofy, yes. Full of BS, yes. I've been told that plenty of times. But whimsical, no, never been accused of being whimsical.
Is there going to be any dancing tonight?
Yes, but after the show.
Oh. Kim, KLG223 says, has there ever been a thought to having Zoom meetups or tastings with SMWS members? It would be awesome to talk about favorite drams or recent releases with other members. And hi, Scott, she says. Yeah, actually, that has come up.
Okay.
I would say it's been talked about at this point.
Particularly so you and we're drinking these together. Which the only problem I have with this is we're not actually in the same room.
Yeah.
You're in Wichita and I'm out here on the left coast. It'd be better if we're hanging out, chilling out, maybe by the campfire in the backyard, in the barbecue, with the dog and some really tall, strange dude. I can't remember what his name is, in hanging out with us. That'd be really the drink then. But technology has provided us the capability of doing this, so can't complain. I'm having a great time. But it would be cool to have a Zoom thing where everybody has, hey, tonight we're going to do this bottle. And if you order this bottle, you got this bottle, let's all get together and we're all going to talk about a fascinating dichotomy, or whatever the particular bottle is at that time. And have people share notes, because I'm sure if everybody in the chat here had a bottle, some of them would say, oh, I get this. And we'd go, nah, that guy's nuts. And then someone else would say something else. We go, oh yeah, I totally get that. We come up with different things or different ways of we're kind of getting the same thing. We're in the same ballpark, but describing in kind of different areas to try to get at it. Here's, I'm gonna throw a long word. Maybe it gets on the label. Most of the time, we're using what's called phenomenological language. You know what that is?
Phenomenological language
and analogical language. Phenomenological is we're speaking according to appearances, not as to how they really are. It's like saying when the sun rises, unless you believe in geocentric theory, the sun doesn't rise, right?
Huh.
So, if I ask Siri what time does the sun rise, it's not going to tell me. No, we're in a heliocentric galaxy or whatever. So it's going to tell me what time the sun will appear coming up over the horizon. So we speak according to appearances, but it's very difficult. Sometimes things are exact. Like some wines, Sauvignon Blanc, this is exactly grapefruit, exactly this. And this, most of the time, we're kind of in a ballpark trying to get close to how we, and it's hard to sometimes match sensations and smells and aromas of what we're actually getting. But we're using phenomenological language and we're speaking by analogy.
Gotcha.
Analogical language. There you go.
So analogically, 2 rounds of water is helping this one.
There you go.
It is. It's bringing out more of the sweetness now. Some more of the cinnamons, deeper, darker cinnamons. Some of those baking spices are showing. So yeah, this one's handling water very well.
And actually, I'm getting more, just a little more red fruit. Actually, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it could be starting to bring out some of the red fruit as well.
The impact on water is more dramatic with these whiskeys than I seriously. There's no joke.
Yeah.
With the end of the whiskey, more dramatic.
I'm going to prep the palate for whiskey number 5. 2 more to go. 2 more to go.
Hold on. By the way, we didn't arrange this. I just said, hey, what the heck? I'll be the bottle guy. I'll be the Vanna White holding the bottles up.
All right. And a cracker real quick. 18-year-old. Spicy and sweet. 9.214. Foppish Dandy. I had to look up foppish.
I was going to say, what the? Foppish? What is that? You're so foppish.
Yeah.
What's foppish? I don't know.
So I shot the single bottle review for this, which we'll post tomorrow. And I might have got, it's goofy. It could be, it's kind of goofy dressing. People who think more of their dress, or, put too much time and thought into the way they dress, or they are eccentric basically with their dress. So they're foppish.
Foppish. You say foppish.
Foppish.
Foppish. So I'm guessing that's not a term that made it over here to the New World. It may be a little bit more common over in the UK. They have their own term. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. You think that's more of a UK thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Roy uses some terms that I have to go. I got to Google that. Find out what the heck that term means, And
then he uses some terms that you don't have to Google.
No.
Sweet and spicy here, 56.5% ABV. This is from a first fill ex-bourbon barrel and is available tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern for, it's scrolling down there, $185. So we're off of the spicy and dry profile. We're off of the deep, rich, and dried fruits. We're more of a mellow nose here. Definite berries.
To me,
spices.
This seems, I know, classic. Like when I think of Scotch whiskeys, this is a little bit more in the. These, I think some of these ones we've had before are really unique, and I can't think of any other than one. Reminds me of a certain distillery along the West Coast, which I shall not mention. A lot of these are so unique. I've never had anything like this. This to me seems a little bit more traditional Scottish. Something like I can't pinpoint it, but it seems like other whiskeys I've had before.
Woo. Yeah.
So, in case you're watching, I don't hold this up to my nose too long. You will burn your nose out and you won't be able to smell anything. And then I don't, it's not a glass of Pinot Noir or Chardonnay. I'm not swirling it. For me, my style approach is turn on an angle and give a slight roll and coat the side of the glass.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. And when I'm not on camera, I get a sippy straw and drink it that way.
Spicy, fruity. Spicy, not by peppery, but spicy by cinnamon.
Baking
cardamom.
spices.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Caramels. Little floral.
Wow.
Yeah.
But this should be a room freshener, an air freshener.
Yeah, it could be.
Wow. Yep. This is probably, other than like a distinctive pepperiness of the third one we had, or the second one, this has more wood spices, more baking spices, darker fruits.
I'm back. I'm in on the palate already. And again, fruits, berries, little tobacco again. Spices, the cinnamons, the cardamom.
Wow.
Cocoa, baking cocoa powder.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's like a light chocolate character or cocoa character in there.
Uh-huh. Yep. Little floral.
Baking spices all the way through. It's sweet up front. Not savory, but almost like a bread, more like a bread character in the mid to the back end character of it.
Mm-hmm.
Starts off sweet and then dries a little bit on the back end. If there's any wood tannin out of any of these, this maybe has just a hint of wood tannin. I really like the development on this. I'm key on development. Hint of chocolate, bready character, a little bit of vanilla, and then the baking spices in there.
Croissants. When you say baking or bready character, croissants came to mind. A nice, fluffy, light breakfast.
It's not croissant. It's croissant.
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 But maybe it was left in the oven just a little bit and got a little browner. A little bit browner.
Yeah. Great depth on this one. Nice finish. It goes. Hangs on. And I'm even going to add, I at first I said not black pepper, but there's even a little bit of a black pepper spice in here with this cinnamon and everything on the tail end.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know I'm a good gabber. And I mentioned this, these whiskeys are so grabbing my attention. I'm having difficulty paying attention to you in the chat. Because man, I am so focused on these. My brain is just like just analyzing and just the whole caught up in the rapture of the experience of these whiskeys. They're so captivating. It makes it difficult for doing live streams because they're just so attention grabbers. And I don't want to move on to the next one. I want to spend more time on this one. But just sort of mind-blowing experience. And I remember, so when my first Scotch Malt Whiskey Society experience was with Roy, I think we had 3 drams, if I remember, and they were nice, very good. But when you have an experience that just like it just sticks in your head, you know, like maybe the first time you saw Star Wars, the first time we had that tasting with Ben down in Wichita, and it was at that steakhouse.
Oh.
The impression of when I walked away, it had such a huge impression on me. So Oswas, the Oswas Awards, that we had this last year, you know, Ralphie and Roy's thing, when there was the nomination for independent bottlers, this was it. This is who I nominated as my independent bottler. I don't have as much experience with independent bottlers as maybe some others, but I've had plenty of them. And this, for me, this is it. Of course, they're kind of unique in their profile and how they do things and stuff like that. But for me, from my experience, again, it's just me, in comparison with others, the others, I don't think are quite that. Now, I've had some great underlayings and on all the rest of those. But for me, Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, and in terms of that lasting impression as I walk away, you know, and it kind of lingers in my mind, this is it.
Two notes, one weird one, berries, like raspberries, and cucumbers. Cucumber water. I formulated that while you was talking there.
I don't get enough freaking cucumbers.
It was like a raspberry cucumber.
I get the berry character. I get the berry character. About 3/4 of the way back.
Yeah, very nice. I'll even add it. I added 1 round of water. Even throw a couple more drops in here. And I think water with these, especially like an 18-year-old whiskey, the high ABV takes water well, but then that 18 years sitting in that oak, those oak tannins really start to open up too. For me, most of the time with an 18-year-old whiskey, water will help. But let's see here, because I just added my second round.
What did Tom say?
Oh, is Bart foppish? Yeah. Bart is foppish.
I don't even think I have to answer that one. Oh man, that's funny.
All right, 2 rounds of water here. Let's see. Definitely bringing out more of the fruitiness, more of those fruit tones, more of the sweetness, cotton candy sweetness, powdered sugar sweetness, more citrus notes, more berries.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's like if you ever get dry candies and they kind of dust them with powdered sugar, it's kind of like that character on there.
Yeah.
But darker fruits. Whereas the first two were getting more towards the pineapple, tropical, yellow fruits. And these last two have been more of the darker fruits.
G-Man asked, don't you feel you can buy the same quality standard bottlings of good scotch at 50% of what we're paying through this service? I don't think so. I mean, I know I work for the company. I work for SMWS, and I just started when I retired, last year from the Wichita Police Department, almost 29 years. And I thought about getting into the whiskey industry and what company appealed to me. Scotch Malt Whiskey Society was at the forefront because of the quality of the whiskeys they've been releasing. Even the value of the bottles. These are whiskeys, to me, I have no problem telling people these will be some of the best whiskeys you'll ever taste in your life.
So
not all of them.
So we're looking at cask strength. How many cask? We're talking cask strength, age statements. Those two alone, and between 100, let's say on average, between $100 and $200. Show me.
Yeah,
just show me. Name one. I just say name one, and I'd be happy to agree with you. That'd be fine. It's funny when I heard. So I remember when we were down in Texas, you mentioned that you're in talkings of going into a business, retiring from the police department, and doing whiskey, and you couldn't say who it was because you're still in the courting period. And you couldn't say who it was. When I heard you're going to go to Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, I said, that's like a foot in a shoe. Perfect match. Your personality, your character, as well as the fact that you were a fan early on, and you expanded my experience with Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. I said, yeah, perfect represent for the United States, not for Scotland or the UK. You don't have that accent, but in terms of your character, personality, and so forth, you're a perfect fit. You're a perfect fit.
We had, and a great example of that, we had it was a 25-year-old, of course, single malt, single barrel, cask strength, finished in a Cabernet Sauvignon barrel. And it was $255. It was delicious. It's a damn good whiskey. And when we was reviewing that one, that might have been the 1st of February, maybe the February Outturn. And I pointed that out. I said, this is a 25-year-old single malt, single cask, finished in Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's $255. I'm like, go to a liquor store and try to find a 25-year-old single malt for less than that.
Right.
Let alone a single cask finished in Cabernet Sauvignon.
And how many 25-year-olds are being released at 40 and 43%?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So because they're trying to stretch that. And so what they're selling is the age, and they're trying to, and I've had one of those. I won't bring up the bottles. I got them right over sitting over here, where they're selling the bottle on the age, and the general profile is very nice, but they don't have the oomph. You feel like something got left out. You're getting more of an echo of what the great whiskey was, because they just stretched it too dang thin. And so to get a 25 at cask strength, that's the rarity. And they're 25-year-olds. Look at 25. I'd love to have a 25-year-old Brunow. How much does 25-year-old Brunow cost? $450?
Probably higher now. You're probably $500-$600 range.
So bonkers right now.
Yeah. And that's probably 46%.
Yeah. Not that you have to have more alcohol necessarily in order to, have more flavor, because it's about flavor, not about getting schnockered. But yeah, take that into consideration.
I'm just going through. We had a lot of comments coming in from people watching about our whiskeys, and yeah, I mean it's now. What I'll tell you is every whiskey that we release, is it a home run? Is it going to be the best whiskey you've ever had? No. I haven't had any bad whiskeys that we've released. They've all been good whiskeys. Some are better than others, and some are home runs. And I honestly have no problem telling people some of these will be the best whiskeys you'll ever taste.
Well, there was one that I tasted with Daniel Whittington down in Texas. The last time I was down there, it was called I think it was called Cigar Juice.
I think, yeah.
Was the name of it. And it was all right, but it wasn't mind-blowingly spectacular. But it was all right. And I don't know how much it would have cost. Of course, they're not available now. But it was just sort of a good, all right whiskey. Yeah, so any distillery, even some of my favorites, they're not going to all hit it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was, in terms of memory, yeah, that was sort of all right. But the ones that I went through, at Christmas 2 years ago, those 30 or some odd that I went through, the Advent calendar, every one of those was spectacular. There wasn't a dud in the bunch.
Yep. I like Mikey Larson's comment. He says SMWS is concentrated unicorn juice. Seth Landsman says the best whiskey he ever had was 29.279. So
I got a question. That Scotch and malt whiskey, excuse me. These are sort of falling out of fad. This is one of my old coins, which now I look, because I shaved the beard off. Have they ever thought about doing these? Have they ever done coins?
The SMWS?
Yeah.
No, we have not. It has come up.
I think it'd be cool. But if they were to do it, I'm just pitching in. This is the one that the Whiskey Tribe does. They put a ridge in it so that it fits, and it has a nice ridge around it. So my recommendation, if they should do it, available at Christmas time, make it so they have a slight ridge so that they actually fit really, really nice on the glasses. Just saying, it's an idea. Something to do. Those aren't coins aren't as popular as hyped as they were before, but I still collect them. I really like them.
All right, let's get into our last whiskey, and before we do that, let's start our next drawing for let's say trying to think of a trivia question here to ask what we've gone through. I've got it. Yep. Hold on just a second.
So where I work, there are a lot of whiskey fans and of course I live in the wine country. I live in Sonoma wine country. There are people I work with that make wine, but there's a lot of whiskey fans as well. I'm going to share this with some of my coworkers. That way I'll get a raise. But I'm right now I have some people in mind that I definitely want to share these with.
All right. Was it the whiskey before that one? We looked at a fascinating dichotomy. It was an 11-year-old that was finished in Oloroso sherry. How many years had it spent in ex-bourbon cask? The initial maturation was in an ex-bourbon cask for how many years? Comment with the correct answer, number-wise, not spelled out, has to be the number. And you'll be entered into the drawing for the next. You got muted, Erik.
No,
you're.
I said, I don't know.
Can't hear you. How many years in the ex-bourbon cask? It was finished in Oloroso. How many years? Everybody that answers correctly will be entered into the drawing. And we're going to move on to the next one. Let me put up the last. And peated whiskey, and it's a good one. Cask number 42.70, Swash and Buckle. This is a 14-year-old Highland, peated from a refill ex-bourbon hogshead, 58.4% ABV, $150.
And
Tomorrow, 1 p.m.
14 years old.
Yes.
Says right on the bottle.
Yep. We do put that on there. We're pretty transparent with that.
Yes.
And
oh my God, man, I just pulled the cork. Oh my God.
This is I like this distillery. I'll say that much. I like to see releases from this one.
I want to be alone. Oh my God. I haven't even poured it yet, dude. Just right out of the bottle.
Yeah. And oh wow, the nose on that. Salty lemon roasted peanuts in a grass fire.
Swash and buckle.
Ooh, oh.
So really light in color. There's a slight tinge of yellow and slight tinge of just around the edge. You can see a slight tinge of green and slight tinge of yellow, and yet it's 14 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's 14 years old.
So it's in a refill ex-bourbon hogshead. So that hogshead had bourbon in it. It had another whiskey, and now it's had this whiskey in it. 14 years. Lighter influences from the oak we're going to see here, or should. And let's go in. Let me share my screen. We will do our drawing for the next winner. The correct answer was 8. Anybody that entered the number 8 is entered. The randomizer is slowing down. It's slowing down. $50 gift card is Ernie. Ernie and customer won the first one. Ernie, email me at scott@smws.com and we'll get you your $50 gift card.
Heaven.
Was I sharing that?
Heaven.
Was I sharing that? I was not sharing that, was I?
The picture? No.
Was it drawing? Oh, no. Let me show you right there. It went through. That was the winner. Ernie.
There you go, Ernie. Way to go, Ernie.
I clicked one button, forgot to click the negative.
Wrong button.
Or, I mean, forgot to click the second.
You mean after drinking, 5 whiskeys, you push a wrong button?
Yeah. Hard to believe. All right.
Congratulations, Ernie.
That took the fun out of it, though. Nobody could see the drawing as it was coming. All right. 42.70 Swash and Buckle.
I just drooled on myself.
Salty. Ooh.
So some peated whiskeys, you just kind of get smoking peat and smoking peat and peat and smoke peat and smoke brandy and medicinal, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
And then you have to kind of either wait for it to open up or get past the neck pour or let it air, whatever else to get through anything else. This has everything present right up front. This is a neck pour, and yet I'm getting lemon and lime. I'm getting a little oceanic breeze, a little saltiness, a slight tropical character, some vanilla, some spice, and it's and the smoke is more like framing it. Mm-hmm. Think of like, here's all your fruit and spice, your lemon and lime, kiwi, pineapple character in here, and then on the frame on the outside is the smoky, wafty character on that. Just really, really nice.
Yep.
And from the neck pour, and then on the back end, I did a little bit of that salting. There's a saltiness on the back end.
Yep. See, I got the salted, roasted, peanuts right up front. Nice citrus here in the background. Citrus sweetness. Little earthy, little minty going on at the same time. There's a lot on the nose on this one.
So next time we're just gonna have 6 bottles of this. We're just gonna 6 glasses, and here we have another one. 6 glasses of this. All this right here. So I love peated whiskey. So I have a 6 3-foot by 6 foot by 3 foot bookcase over here. Half of it is Highland peated. I have another bookcase here from top to bottom is all Isla. Okay, so I'm obviously a big peat fan. Love peat, and yet I tend to be a little bit more seasonal, a little more mood driven as to when I want to have it. I like cooler weather. We got into spring weather. It was getting warm. All of a sudden, boom, back into rain and cold, which makes it just perfect for this kind of whiskey. But
Right.
But this is my favorite style. Of everything, this is my favorite.
I'm going in on the palate. Neat.
Going in. If I don't make it out, send for help.
Wow. Ooh. Mid-level peat here. Wow. There's so much going on with it though, besides just the peat. There's all those citrus notes. There's sweetness, a little bit of vanilla. There's some vegetal, earthy notes here. Roasted fruit. Here's your roasted pineapple.
Yep.
Roasted apples, even oranges. It's all on the spit. You know, the orange, apple, pineapple.
So Tobias asked, where do you get your glassware? Amazon. That's where I get my underwear. Where I get my toothpaste.
Well, which one? Who's he talking about? These are
glassware.
We don't sell. The SMWS actually doesn't sell.
So mine are Glencairns. You know, they're very common. So the earlier one I called it Damn. This is the revenge of Damn. Or Damn comes back. Damn comes back. This is it coming back. This is, I'm already gonna say it straight up, my favorite so far. But it's the other one was the second favorite.
I can tell you, 42. I think the last 42 we released was called The Right Stuff, and it was delicious. This one does not disappoint. If you're a fan of this distillery, it's phenomenal. This is a good release here.
If you're a fan of Southern Isla, of the Cadalton area of Isla, this is it.
And I got an email. I got an email from customer. It looks like the first winner. I haven't got an email from Ernie yet. So Ernie, shoot me an email. Scott@smwsa.com.
So the nose is pretty much confirmed on the palate. Lemon, lime. There's a little bit of barbecue going on there. There's a lot of saltiness on the back end. Just a waft of chocolate character on there. This is not medicinal seaweed iodine character, and then it just enveloped and wrapped in a nice waft of smoke and just a hint of chocolate and vanilla. This is my thing. This is it. When it comes to Isla, this is it. And I'm assuming it's Isla because sometimes, I did like several months.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a Highland.
Okay, it's a Highland.
Yep. Yeah. But
yeah. So here I'm just gonna say I did several months of Highland. I got a hold of a North Highland peated, and there are a lot of them that I had that I would taste it blind. I would not be able to tell between that and Isla.
If anybody, can you see the comments? I can't. We can't discuss what distillery this is. 42 is, but if somebody's watching that knows what 42 is, you can let Erik know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not far.
One of the challenges
not far.
In terms of academically, I'm trying to learn because I'm studying region. I'm trying to how does it reflect the region and so forth. A lot of distilleries in the Highland are sourcing their peated barley from Port Ellen, which then even though it's made at a distillery in the Highlands, it's actually coming from Isla, which makes it difficult to recognize as a Highland whiskey, and you're going to think it's from Isla. The difference is if they're sourcing, typically, from my experience, if they're sourcing a peated barley from Isla and distilling and aging, mashing, distilling, aging in the Highlands, is the oceanic character isn't there. You don't get the oceanic influence there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely coastal. I'm getting some that you had said no seaweed. I do get a little bit of seaweed. I don't necessarily get any medicinal, any iodine, anything like that. I did get a little bit of the maritime. Definitely like a sea salt, a little bit of seaweed.
Yep.
Nice smoke, nice grilled fruits here all around. Very nice.
Really, really nice. Wow. Now, what I had in my head as to what distillery I thought it was, no, I'm wrong. That's the first.
Crump, these will be tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. So There's a couple comments in there, Erik, on the distillery.
Okay, not surprising. Not surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It basically it's an Isla cousin that moved inland.
Yeah. Yep.
In terms of character, not in terms of history or anything. Yeah, well, this is really nice.
Was it in a Shakespeare play? I don't think so. Good comment. GCAP here to almost wrap it up. Nice outturn and great to see Erik Wade as a member giving thoughts on these. Hope to see him on a return. Cheers, everyone. It's time for me to call Saul. Yep.
So I just changed religions. I just converted. I just converted. I left one cult and joined another.
Stephen Meadows asked, which one do you think is better, this or the right stuff? I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go back to the right stuff and see. That's like a kid. I wouldn't be able to pick a favorite. Both good. This one definitely did not disappoint. It's right up there with the right stuff. So, yep. All right. Well, I think we better wrap it up. We're at the hour-and-a-half mark. We're just coming up to it. We stretched that one out. Ernie. I got an email. Gotcha. Yep. All right. Customer and Ernie, I've got emails from you. I'll get you your $50 gift cards soon. And Erik, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yep. Real quick, before we close out, just let everybody know again, your name, your channel, where to find you, and we'll sign off. Whoops.
Erik Wade, Whiskey Studies. Currently doing a series on distillery profiles, studying for an exam with the Council of Whiskey Masters. That's what I'm currently doing. So check it out. I video push once a week, do live now on Saturdays, but it's going to be a little bit more academic. So if you want to learn a bit, tune in. But I think most people know who I am. So.
Yep. All right. Again, thank you, Erik, and thanks to everybody that tuned in, and congratulations to Ernie and customer.
All right. Sláinte va.
Sláinte.
Dummies.
We don't say that. We can.